Alright, yeah. This one today is about Abhimanyu point of view. The point of view being how we of today are trapped like he was in a situation 5,000 years ago in Kurukshetra War, when he was trapped in a Chakravayu. Before we go any further, the reason Abhimanyu is Abhimanyu was he had two previous lives. In these time of catch all these 4 yuga time that most of us are all in a life having many lives in this catch and call of time, as in such as our time to basically get ourselves back to the spiritual universe. So in the soul journal, the amount of catch and call of humans at this time, 155 trillion years have gone past in the Vedic universe, so halfway through the universe, time of 51 years of Brahma. So we're in the soul journey at that time. So going back to Abhimanyu, his previous lives he was actually a guard for Rama and Sita in Ayodhya in the Treta Yuga, the Silver Yuga, and he got cursed by a Saivite sage of Lord Shiva for not letting him in, and said in your next life you'll be at enmity with Vishnu. That was then to become, in that next life, and he was cursed to become Kali Avana, and he went against Lord Krishna in Dwarka. So when Rama became Krishna, for the next time of circumstance, is when basically there was a fallout, and Kali Avana, who was a king of the Magda region of a northeastern region of India at a time, who was the son of Gargamuni and Ramba, and he basically ended up being sort of induced to fight against the Yadu, and the head of the Yadu being God himself, Krishna, where he led him into a cave chasing after Krishna, and got burnt to ashes by a sleeping giant in the stasis chamber that was sleeping there from the solar time of the Treta Yuga, in a sleep, and had a stasis chamber's ability that was protecting him to basically be burned to ashes. Anyone untimely wakes him up, that's because it was a protective sort of like stasis chamber for the very reason of being untimely woken. And Kali Avana was led into there to be burned to ashes. And that was the end of Kali Avana, in the quick brief. From there, he then became the son of Arjuna and Subhadra, and is known as Abhimanyu. Now he's on the side with Lord Krishna, as the nephew of Lord Krishna. And it was now in this battle of the Mahabharata and the Kurukshetra that many people all know about. And it was in the formation of the 13th day that Chakravayu was formated, as the wheel formation, also known as the Padmavayu, the lotus shape as well. It had 7 concentric circles of soldiers moving in a motion. And only a few people knew how to get inside and get out. Abhimanyu knew his way in, didn't know his way out, but he didn't need to know his way out, because he went right through them all, and went to the last 7 masters, warriors, and defeated them all as a 16-year-old, right? And their war would have ended that day, but because they were a dharmic, immoral in what they had agreed upon, as had always been a dharmic, being the Kuru dynasty, they multi-assailed against him and killed him, you see, which is immoral. But on the 18th day, Arjuna and Krishna then finished off the Kurukshetra war. From that life of Abhimanyu then he went to the heavens of the Savarga Loka, or to be the son of Chandra and Rohini, who is the presiding deity, Chandra that is, of the moon. The moon is not just a quick note, it's not an evil Death Star. It's always been of the heavens, right? I don't know where people picking this madness up from, right? It's there as a natural satellite to help grow the food, just like the sun is in the moonlight. It gives us heavenly vegetation and helps to grow the vegetation. I know where people get all this madness from. So just a quick note on that, Chandra is of the heavenly presiding deity, and Abhimanyu then became Varchas, the son of Chandra and Rohini, and lived his life out in the heavens. It's now these days, Varchas is now a military weaponry innovator for technology of aerospace that provides all the customised high-tech solutions that meet the evolving needs of the aerospace. Which, you know, it's a bit like, well, it's an Azoric system that should be using such a diva's name for Azoric systems, but there we go. Now, how we bring this on to now? Well, and here we are in the Kali Yuga 5,000 years later, and this is what gets them to me, is like, see how we in this Kali Yuga on the 7 continents are like all sort of like trapped by these rulers in this Kali Yuga, and are basically trapped in a 48-4 system of a monetary system, right? Do you understand? So you're trapped yourself, you see, and you can't get out of it, see? Do you understand that? Do you see that pattern? Because that's what we're in. Now, to beat this pattern, where you're democratic, there's a 5-step plan that I've managed to figure. There's always been there, like the 5 sides of a pyramid, 4 you see and the one at the base bottom. And now you beat it by basically 1, stop voting to hit 51%, 2, become neutral countries, 3, also become non-monetary and clear all debts, consider that all housing and all worth keeping duties of industry into the first estate, we'll call it the first estate, and 4, you put the 3913 into human resources, not the 48-4. You remove the 48-4 and you put the 3913, that is to work 13 weeks by 4 people in every job, and you get 39 weeks back, your spiritual leela. That's what we should be doing. And 5 is then, because there's not a non-monetary system, there's no more government, you basically re-evaluate what is now legal. All the other religions, I said, are in step 3, but everybody's duties outside your house is, right? And it's a safe as houses movement, because whatever we change and close down as industries, big and small, whatever department that maybe need closing down, you do not get evicted out of your house because of it. Unlike now in the Kali Yuga 48-4, they've got everybody basically under stress or being evicted if you're losing the job, right? If you can't get on benefits, maybe you have a mortgage, whatever it is, rather than a council flat or a rented room where you can go on the council if and when you may lose a job. So it's safer in the free world than what it is here in this world, you see. And this is where we need to get to as a 5-step plan, as I've said before. And the only way you're going to try and get there, as I say, is by not voting. You see, the first layer is to get to 51% and demand to basically become a neutral non-monetary country. Then put the 3913 in, and then we'll review what is now legal in a free world when it's a non-monetary free world. But yeah, that is a point of view from Abhimanyu's point of view. You could see from then to how we live interpreted to the Kali Yuga, that you're in a sort of like swaying hordes of people in the system. They're trying to get you sucked in or lost and trapped into its ideology. You see how we are now, how people get sucked into its belief system of getting one of all these goals like marriage and mortgages, taking their medication, birth certificate to children, getting university sort of like grants that you've done, some have got, or loans that you've got to pay back, you know, and you're up to your eyeballs in debt and you've only about 25 years of age. And all these ideologies they put in front of you, to see what we're going to see as a chattel to be used, you see, and made money from, You see, and it's about getting free from these monetary banking families, these subterranean dynasties of industries, as I'll call them out, as being the bankers, the legal system, and the politicians. So you could say, Vedically, you could say the Kavarians, the bankers, you could say the Azuras, the legal side of the system, of there's a high-handed of made-up legal law, and then you could say the Rakshasas being the politicians. See, the shapeshifters that would shapeshift around in any party just to save their own career at a bottom feed level of the pyramid system of the 5 sides of the system. You see, where they run basically the government, said don't vote, step 1. So we've got to beat the first line. You see, what's they're here to do, which they're there to do, which is to do protect the bankers. See, that's all they're there to do. Deception, you don't need them. See, and that's how you get at the banking system, by firstly getting at their government by not voting, by lawful rebellion. It's in your legal lawful right not to vote. And at the moment in UK we're about 27 million people not voting. So only about 1.2 million people away become the new 51%. But it's looked upon as the unheard third because they don't recognise 8 million eligible unregistered. So there's only 19 million registered. Me being one of them is registered who don't vote, 19 million. So we'd actually really need 5 million people that are still voting in the 28 million that are still voted registered to join the side, which will eventually happen, right? Within these next 50 years, 10 general elections. So yeah, this is where we're at in our times. I'll leave it there for now, but think about it, because we're getting close to coming into the new Krita Yuga, which we have meant to be in right now. It's been hijacked. We're meant to be in a Krita Yuga now, but it's been hijacked for about the last 300 years or so. And we're in this predicament now, but we will get out of it. Anyway, catch you later.